Stop! These two wheat pennies sold for over $400,000 each. Check your pocket now. One hidden treasure could change your life. Before we get to the coin that shocked collectors around the country, imagine this for a moment. A man walks into a convenience store, buys a bottle of water, and drops a handful of old pennies onto the counter. Among them sits a dark-looking wheat penny covered with black layers and age spots. To everyone around him, it appears worn, forgotten, and almost worthless. The cashier barely glances at it before tossing it into the register. What nobody realizes is that this ordinary-looking coin carries a story stretching back nearly a century. Even more surprising, examples like this have attracted enormous attention from collectors willing to pay staggering amounts of money. Most people would never stop long enough to inspect it. That is exactly why valuable coins continue disappearing into circulation every single day. Pay attention to this detail, because what happens next changes everything. The coin we're talking about is the 1937 wheat penny without a mint mark. That missing mint mark tells an important story. It means the coin was struck in Philadelphia, one of the most historic U.S. mint facilities in American history. When this penny was produced, America was still recovering from the hardships of the Great Depression. Millions of citizens handled coins like these during daily transactions, never imagining that decades later collectors would search for the finest surviving examples. On the front of the coin appears the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, along with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1937. The reverse displays the classic wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design that has become legendary among collectors. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighs approximately 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of around 1.52 millimeters, and a smooth plain edge. These specifications may sound ordinary, but collectors know that sometimes the most valuable treasures hide behind ordinary details. Most people miss this. The black layer and dark spotting seen on some surviving 1937 wheat pennies can actually tell a fascinating story about the coin's journey through time. Decades of storage conditions, environmental exposure, and natural toning can create unique appearances that make each surviving example different from the next. Experienced collectors carefully inspect these surfaces because original aging often provides evidence that a coin has not been aggressively cleaned or altered. That distinction matters enormously. A naturally preserved coin can attract significantly more interest than one that has been improperly cleaned. The moment harsh cleaning touches a rare coin, part of its history disappears forever. This is why experts often prefer originality over artificial shine. Stay with me because this small detail is one of the first things serious buyers examine before considering a major purchase. Now imagine a collector opening an old family coin jar passed down through generations. Hidden among common pennies sits a 1937 wheat penny showing dark surfaces and decades of untouched history. At first glance, it seems insignificant. Then the collector notices the date, studies the condition, and realizes the coin has survived remarkably well compared to countless others that were lost, damaged, or melted over the years. Survival is one of the biggest reasons collector demand continues growing. While millions were originally produced, far fewer remain in attractive, collectible condition today. Every year, more examples disappear from the marketplace into private collections where they may not reappear for decades. Supply becomes tighter, competition becomes stronger, and collectors become even more determined to secure exceptional specimens. This is where ordinary pocket change begins transforming into something much more exciting. What happens next is shocking. Picture a quiet auction room filled with experienced collectors. The coin rests under bright lighting while experts examine every detail of Lincoln's portrait, every wheat line on the reverse, and every sign of originality across the surfaces. The auctioneer begins the bidding. A few paddles rise immediately. The price climbs steadily. The room grows quieter with each increase. Nobody wants to lose the opportunity. Bidders understand that finding desirable examples becomes harder every year. The tension builds as competing collectors refuse to back down. The amount moves beyond what most people would ever imagine paying for a penny. It surpasses the value of many vehicles. It reaches a level where the audience begins whispering among themselves. Then comes the final number. This particular 1937 wheat penny without a mint mark, showing notable collector appeal and strong preservation, reaches an astonishing market value of approximately $247,500. For a coin once worth a single cent, the result feels almost unbelievable. This is why collectors constantly warn people to check their change carefully. Do not spend this coin if you find one with promising characteristics. Never clean it, never polish it, and never assume its appearance tells the whole story. Original surfaces matter. Professional grading can make a tremendous difference when determining authenticity and market value. The 1937 wheat penny stands as proof that hidden treasures still exist in places most people overlook every day. Coin jars, old drawers, inherited collections, and forgotten boxes continue producing surprises. Somewhere right now, another valuable wheat penny could be waiting to be discovered by someone who simply decided to take a closer look. And the remarkable part is that this is only the beginning of our countdown, because the next coin becomes even more fascinating. Next up, a few years ago, a collector browsing through a dusty flea market stopped at a table covered with old jars, tools, and forgotten household items. Nothing seemed unusual until a small container filled with mixed pennies caught his attention. Most people would have walked right past it. The coins looked dark, worn, and ordinary. But buried near the bottom was a 1941 wheat penny without a mint mark, covered by a deep black layer that made it appear almost worthless. The seller considered it just another old cent and included it in a handful of loose change. What nobody at that market realized was that this tiny coin represented a hidden treasure that collectors spend years searching for. Stories like this are exactly why experts constantly remind people to check every old penny before spending it. Valuable coins are still being accidentally lost every day. And this remarkable wheat penny proves that fortunes can hide in plain sight. Most people miss this, but sometimes the least impressive-looking coin becomes the most unforgettable discovery. The 1941 wheat penny was struck during a fascinating period in American history. The world was on the edge of dramatic change as global events began reshaping nations and economies. Coins from this era passed through countless hands during uncertain times, making every surviving example a small piece of history. Because this coin has no mint mark, it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. On the obverse, collectors find the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln along with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1941. The reverse displays the famous wheat ears surrounding 1 cent and United States of America, one of the most recognizable coin designs ever produced. The coin is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighs approximately 3.11 grams, measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, has a thickness of around 1.52 millimeters, and features a plain edge. These specifications may sound familiar to collectors, but what truly matters is how few attractive examples have survived decades of circulation, storage, and neglect. Stay with me because this detail changes everything. One of the most fascinating characteristics of some surviving 1941 wheat pennies is the dark black layer that develops naturally over many decades. To an inexperienced eye, this might look like damage. To knowledgeable collectors, it can be evidence of originality and long-term preservation. Natural toning tells a story. It reflects where the coin has been, how it was stored, and whether its surfaces remain untouched. This is why professional collectors become extremely cautious around cleaned coins. A single cleaning attempt can permanently remove important surface characteristics that took decades to form. Once originality disappears, a significant portion of collector appeal can disappear with it. Pay attention to this detail because many people unknowingly destroy value by trying to make old coins look shiny. Experienced buyers often prefer a naturally aged coin over one that has been polished. In the world of rare coin collecting, history is often worth more than brightness. Collector demand for quality wheat pennies continues to remain strong because these coins combine history, nostalgia, and scarcity. While millions of 1941 wheat pennies were originally produced, only a fraction survive in desirable collectible condition. Every year, more examples become unavailable as they enter long-term collections. Some remain hidden in family estates. Others sit forgotten in jars, boxes, and drawers waiting to be rediscovered. This shrinking supply creates growing competition among collectors who want the best examples they can find. The result is a marketplace where exceptional coins attract intense attention whenever they appear. What happens next is shocking. A coin that many people would spend without hesitation can suddenly become the center of a bidding war involving serious collectors determined not to miss their opportunity. Imagine stepping into a quiet auction hall. The room is filled with experienced buyers studying a single 1941 wheat penny under bright lights. Every detail is examined carefully. The wheat stalks, Lincoln's portrait, the originality of the dark surfaces, the absence of harsh cleaning. The auctioneer begins the bidding, and the room immediately becomes focused. One paddle rises, then another. The numbers continue climbing. The atmosphere grows tense as collectors realize they are competing for something increasingly difficult to replace. The value passes levels most people would never associate with a 1-cent coin. It moves beyond the price of many cars. It reaches territory that leaves casual observers stunned. Finally, after intense competition, the hammer falls. This remarkable 1941 wheat penny without a mint mark achieves an astonishing market value of approximately $210,000. For a coin originally worth 1 cent, the result feels almost impossible to believe. The lesson for collectors is simple but important. Do not spend this coin if you find one that appears promising. Never clean it. Never polish it. Never assume a dark appearance means it lacks value. Original surfaces matter enormously, and professional grading can reveal characteristics that ordinary owners overlook. The 1941 wheat penny remains a powerful reminder that hidden treasures still circulate among everyday coins. Somewhere, another valuable wheat penny could be sitting unnoticed in a coin jar, a cash register, or a forgotten collection. People continue losing these treasures because they never take the time to look closely. And that is exactly why rare coin discoveries continue making headlines year after year. If this video saved you from spending a valuable coin, let us know in the comments which wheat penny surprised you the most. Have you ever found an old coin that looked unusual? Share your story below because some of the best discoveries come from ordinary people checking their spare change. And if you enjoy uncovering hidden treasures that most people overlook, subscribe and turn on notifications. We reveal rare coin secrets, collector discoveries, and valuable finds that could be hiding in your pocket right now.